guys, welcome back to Asher Books. So today I'm going to do the mid-year book freakout tag. This is one of my favorite tags. I've seen so many people doing them and I love watching them. I know Izzy from Happy for Now just did hers and it was awesome, so definitely go check out hers. And I've seen, Bree from Falling for Romance just did hers, and so many people just did them. So I wanted to do mine. This is a tag that I've done every year since I started my channel, and I just think it's one of those ones that is such a good way to kind of keep up with where you're at in the middle of the year, look back at your reading, maybe make some plans for like the rest of the year, and I don't know. I think I still love tags in general, honestly, even though I feel like there's not that many that we're doing anymore, but I just think this one's fun. So anyways, without further ado, let's jump into the questions. All right, so favorite book. As per usual, in many of us, I have a couple favorites because picking one is impossible. So the first one is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I just loved everything about this. I loved Chloe. I loved Red. I loved just the growth she had as a person, but also in finding love. It was so fantastic, and I keep thinking about that book, and I feel like that's a good sign of one that you really, really love. Another favorite was From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is a fantasy romance. And again, this one really took me by surprise because I love Jennifer Armentrout, but she hadn't really written a fantasy romance before like this. And I flew through this book. I adored it. I love everything about it. It left off on such a cliffhanger that has me like super, super eager for book 2. And I don't know, I couldn't get enough of this, and it's definitely a favorite. Last favorite is going to be The Kingmaker Duet by Kennedy Ryan. I just read these, and I'm always a little hesitant to put favorites that I just read because, you do kind of wonder, like, is it your favorite because you just read it? Because I'm sometimes guilty of that. But in this case, I really don't think so. I loved that duet so, so much, and I really do think that it's gonna stand the test of time and still be a favorite, at the end of the year. I just loved it so much. I loved Lennox and Maxim. I just thought the growth of them both, like, she's kick-ass. He had so much growth and was such a swoony hero. I couldn't get enough of that book, right? The duet. So definitely a fave. Next was best sequel, and I have two. One was Chasing Cassandra by Lisa Kleypas. So this isn't really, both of these aren't really sequels per se, but it's a companion novel. I love Lisa Kleypas. Chasing Cassandra was the one that came out this year, and I loved this book. It was so good. It was everything I personally love in a historical romance. And I loved Cassandra. I loved our hero in this, which I'm blanking on his name, but I really did like him, and it was just a great book. And then my other favorite sequel is Wild at Heart, which is the kind of sequel to The Simple Wilds by Kay Tucker. I know there were some mixed feelings on this one, but I really liked it. This one I'd say is a sequel. You do have to read The Simple Wilds first. But I thought it was a great continuation, and I loved watching where our characters went. Right, so next is a new release that you want to read but just haven't yet. I've got two. One is Reborn Yesterday by Tessa Bailey. I just think this looks fabulous. I know it's a paranormal romance and it's high on my list to get to. The other one is Trouble with Hating You. Again, this one just looks fabulous. A couple of friends have read it and really, really enjoyed it. So it's pretty high on my list to get to, and I'm hoping to get to it soon. Next one is Most Anticipated Read for the second half of the year. And for this one, there's two again, because I'm capable of picking one, clearly. But one is Engagement and Espionage by Penny Reed. So this is the kind of spin-off of the Winston Brothers series that is going to be with Cletus and Jennifer. And it's going to be, I think, the way I understand it, it's going to kind of be like a cozy mystery meets a romance, because they're going to be like solving crimes. And if you've read that book, you'll know how amazing that sounds just from knowing Cletus and Jennifer. So I'm super, super excited. I think that comes out in July, I want to say. I haven't finished the Winston Brothers, but I don't care. I'm jumping into it anyways. And the other book is In Holidays by Christina Lauren. So I love Christmas, and I really love Christina Lauren. So I love the cover of this book. I didn't even read the synopsis, but like just knowing there's a Christmas book from Christina Lauren, I'm gonna pick it up. I don't think it comes out until like October because it's a Christmas book, but I'm really excited for it. Next is Biggest Disappointment, and for me this is probably To Have and To Hoax. I want to preface this by saying I did enjoy the book. Like, I thought it was a super enjoyable historical romance. And it really wasn't a bad book at all, especially when I found out it was our author's debut novel. It's really well written and I really loved her characters. But I just was expecting a lot more. Like, I really wanted to like adore the book, and going in after reading the synopsis, I really thought it was going to be like a hysterical rom-com of historical romance, and it let me down. I think all of us that we talked about in the live stream kind of agreed. It was a good book, but we wanted it to be like here, and it was not there. So yeah. Next is Biggest Surprise, and there were a few, but one that kind of stuck out to me was Sweet Temptation by Cora Riley. This was a surprise because I kind of picked this up on a whim. I haven't read anything else by Cora Riley before, and I know this is a spinoff of another series that I have not read, but I don't feel like you needed to, and I just thought this was really enjoyable. I don't know, there was just something about it. I flew through it and I kind of want to reread it. Like, it was a really enjoyable book. And I don't know if I gave it 5 stars. I think I might have given it 4. But just the fact that, like, I don't know, I flew through it and was really addicted from a book I kind of just picked up on a whim, I thought was kind of special. So that's what we're going with. Next is favorite new author, and there's a few, but 2 that I really like stick out to me. One is Daphne Perry. I had never read anything from her before, but I read her, oh gosh, I'll put the cover up. I read these 2 books by her because I'm blanking on the name right now for some reason, and really enjoyed them, flew through them, and just loved her writing. So she's someone I really want to read her backlist for, and I've heard really great things. And then the other one is Rebecca Weatherspoon. I just read Rafe by her, and I was just so in love with that book and her writing, that again, I'm so excited to go back and read books by her. And I just love finding authors that I haven't read before and being able to go back and reading some of their older titles. So those are 2 that really stuck out for me. Next is Newest Fictional Crush. And there were so many I could have gone with here, but 2 that kind of really like stuck out were, one was Maxim from the Kingmaker duet by Kennedy Ryan. I know I've mentioned that book a lot, or the duet a lot, but like, it was so good. I just loved him. I felt like he had such growth, and he just like knew what he wanted, and he went about getting it in like a non-douchey way, if that makes sense. But I just really enjoyed his character development. I love the way he stood up for our heroine and also was there for her without like smothering her. Overall, I just thought he was such a strong character. My other favorite is Red from Chloe Brown. I listened to that book on audiobook, and after I finished it, I think I even said to somebody, I'm like, this is my new boyfriend, like my new book boyfriend, because he's just so charming. And again, he's there for the heroine and he's strong, but he's not like overzealous, if that makes sense. Like, I just love a character and like a hero that is like respectful, but also a little alpha, if that makes sense. The combo works, so I love those 2. Next is favorite character. So I picked Sloane from Rafe by Rebecca Weatherspoon. I just love Sloane. She is a Black woman, she's a heart surgeon, she's mom to twins, and she's just a really strong character, and I really enjoyed reading from her perspective. Like, you know when you finish a book and you're like, that was just so enjoyable and also really relatable? That's how I felt when I read it with Sloane. Not that I'm heart surgeon, but you know what I mean. I just really loved her. And then the other one is Lennox from the Kingmaker duet. She just, if you've read that book or that series, I feel like you'll agree, Lennox is an extraordinary person. She doesn't take crap from anybody, and she really sticks to her beliefs and what she wants to see change in the world. And I just think we need more people like Lennox, so she's my fave. Next is Books That Made You Cry, and this without a doubt is Eleanor and Gray by Brittany C. Cherry. Now, I cry a lot in books. Like, there's quite a few on the list that I've cried this year in, but Eleanor and Gray was a whole nother level of sobbing. Like, Brittany C. Cherry books, the ones I've read, always have an emotional punch, but this one, like, it just has some subjects that are very emotional, and I couldn't help myself. This one was waterworks all day. Next is Books That Made You Happy, and there were a few on this one that I could have put. One was Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. I love this. I thought it was such a great like addition to that kind of world, and it was so nostalgic. I started reading those books such a long time ago when I was younger, and I had a really good time reading it. Another one was I finished the Kate Daniel series this year. I didn't really include it too much on the list because I finished it literally in like the first week of January. I read most of them last year, but that last book, Magic Triumphs, is so good and it made me so happy. That was such a good conclusion that like I feel like I was like a little bit nervous but also like really happy at the ending of that book. So loved it. Next is Most Beautiful book, and I'm gonna be honest, I haven't bought a whole lot of books this year at all, especially physically. I think I've only probably bought like maybe 10 books like total, which is a lot less than I used to buy. But two that I love the cover for that I've read on Kindle that I really want to buy a physical copy of. One is Wolf Gone Wild by Juliet Cross. Love this. It was a paranormal romance, and I just thought this cover was so beautiful and I really liked how different it was. And then the other one was In Bed with the Earl by Christy Caldwell. I just finished this book a couple days ago and I love this cover. I just think it's beautiful. The colors are really pretty and I really would not mind owning this one. Last one is books that you want to read before the end of the year, and I could go on for days, but a few that I really want to get to. One is I just started the Side Changeling series by Nalini Singh. I know it's taken me a while, but I'm finally starting it. I really liked the first book, so I want to continue. I won't probably finish the series this year because there's like 30 books or something. There's a lot. But I want to at least read a few more and keep going with that series. Another one is I want to catch up on Julia Quinn's Rokesby series. There's two I haven't read and I love Julia Quinn and I want to catch up with her like new releases. And then the last one is I want to go back and read Talia Hibbert's Backlist. So she's the author of Chloe Brown, or Get a Life Chloe Brown, and I think I read one other book by her, but there's a lot of other ones I haven't got to, and like I said, I love reading authors' backlist, so I'm really excited to do that, and I hope to do more of that before the end of the year. Alright, so that was my mid-year book freakout tag. I love this tag. It's so much fun. I'm not going to tag anyone specifically because I honestly don't know who's done this and who hasn't. But if you want to do it, consider yourself tagged and go ahead and do it. And I'd love to know if you do it. Just let me know down below because I'm trying to go through and watch everyone's videos. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!